I feel like in our patriarchal society, a really big reason why it's lopsided and women are on one side and men are on the other side is because we have expectations of each other. So women have expectations, like in theory, we're supposed to grow up and take care of babies and cook at home, and men are supposed to go out and work. And what I think that will change everything is if we give men options where they don't have to be the breadwinner, and it's okay if the man stays home and the woman works, if that suits their own personality, that everybody should be their own person.
Yeah.
So the question about why we have gender stereotypes. We, as human beings, definitely are social creatures. And back in thousands and thousands of years ago, it helped a lot when we could look at a person and just make a judgment about them. And that used to help really well when we, met people from other tribes, or, people didn't mingle a lot. But now we're in a position where it's hurting us.
Yeah.
Because to judge a book by its cover doesn't help anymore. It used to, but not anymore. Never been told, Khayra, you can't do this because you're a woman. Never. And I've never also been told, like, alhamdulillah, I studied computer science. I was in an IT leadership program in GE. I've always been the only woman in any work I do because it's a male-dominated field. I've never been told you can't do anything. In fact, I've been told the opposite, where they're like, yes, we need women in this field. Go out there, you can do it.
That's great.
But the things that they don't tell you are accidental things where all of the guys, for example, will go out afterwards. And because of our society, it's weird if I'm the only woman with a bunch of guys. Or, small things like how when it comes to math, or when it comes to logic, or when it comes to competition, I'll take competition as an example. Competition while growing up, all of the men around me or all of the boys around me were playing video games and they were playing sports, right?
Yeah.
And it was weird for me to find those things attractive because I didn't have any role models in those things. So then I ended up getting interested in reading and writing and all of these activities that didn't make me competitive. So then by the time, years and years later, I don't know if you know how old I am, but
I don't.
30 years later, a really long time afterwards, I'm here in the world ready to go get them, but I'm not competitive. And it happened by accident. It wasn't anybody that told me, Khayra, don't be competitive. It just
happens.
MashaAllah, every single day, I see women that turn it into a good thing. And I feel like, even though, yes, it's annoying that, people assume that because you're a woman, you can't do something sporty or you can't do something that involves physical strength. But as long as we have women who are putting themselves out there and just trying it, and that inspires more women to try, and then it's just a matter of statistics or probability. The more women that there are, of course, there's going to be someone that can do it better than a guy. That mentality, I think, is again connected to the fact that on the other side, if a father or a husband told his wife, really, I don't want to be an engineer anymore, I want to go and be an artist, guess what? The woman would not be happy with that situation either. So I think it's two ways, and I think it comes down to the idea that we put pressure on our family members and we put pressure on our loved ones because we're afraid. We're afraid that they're going to be judged. That we're afraid that people will judge us. How could we let our loved one do something that's so weird? or that we're afraid of them failing. So it's out of love, but it's a weird love where I'm afraid that you're going to go, when it comes to a man telling a woman not to work, it's usually because he's afraid that she's going to get into the wrong environment, or she's going to not be a good person, or she's going to leave him, or all of these fear things that we have when it comes to our family. It shows a bigger problem underneath society, where we're not willing to talk about what we're scared of, and then we can't solve it. So then we get into this weird cycle, and then men end up oppressing their female loved ones for no reason. I don't even think they know why they do it. My opinion is that it looks like oppression, and it looks like they're just doing it to be mean. But I think, and I've met a couple of these guys, and I've met a lot of my friends have fathers like that. But when you talk to the dad, the things that he deeply is concerned about is, I'm afraid that she's going to bring shame to my family. I'm afraid that it's fear inside. The biggest thing that I see, and that I see from a lot of my friends, is not waiting for permission. And I don't mean this, I don't like breaking the rules. I really like rules. But there's a lot of things that women can do, but they don't do it because, they haven't seen anybody else try it before, or they have an idea and they say it to one friend, and that one friend says, I'm not crazy about it, and then they don't try again. It's all in ourselves, I think. I think it takes a lot of self-confidence. It takes a lot of supporting each other. And then once you get to a point where you did do what you wanted, and you did, find that freedom, then you need to, reach down and help the next person come up. So there's a lot of different techniques. The one that I took was through therapy. So I went to therapy for years. I still go see my therapist every now and then, and psychology and therapy is still very taboo in our society. It's something that people don't really believe in. But I have a therapist, and I have a life coach, and I have a support group. And these three things together give me a lot of strength. And it's not even that these people tell me that, you should believe in yourself, Khayra. It's just like we end up talking about things, and I find out about myself that, I didn't do that thing because I was afraid of da. And then just knowing yourself, and then when you're in the moment, you pump yourself up and you push yourself into uncomfortable situations. I think that helps. I 100% believe that the women who feel like they can't feel that way because of themselves. There's something inside them that's stopping them. It's not something outside, unless it really is. Like if they do have a father that isn't letting them, then yes, that is really difficult, and that's a different story. But usually, all of the times that I've ever seen women overcome their own fears or overcome obstacles that they thought they couldn't, it was because something inside them changed. Oh, cool. You think I'm an empowered woman. Yeah. That's so cute. Role models from all over. To be honest, between us, when I was growing up, I really liked things that usually boys liked. So I loved superheroes. I loved all of those things. So the people I used to look up to when I was a kid were usually guys. So I usually looked at people as role models for their personalities, their attributes, integrity, honesty, doing what's right. And then later, I realized that I have my aunt, Khayra Bundakji. She did a lot of really cool things for women's rights in Jeddah. All of my friends, as I was growing up, I was really lucky. I had very active friends who did a lot of cool things. And then when I went into computer science, when I was 19 in 2007, I learned about how people in computing were originally women, and I learned that the first programmer was a woman, and I learned about all of these great ladies that just loved the science of what they did and the work that they did, and it just, they loved it so much that they forgot they were a woman, and they just wanted to move forward with what they loved. Yeah. So So it's not one person, it's like everything at once that works.
Yeah.